1989's After Midnight is an anthology film from the Wheat brothers, Ken and Jim. They've had an interesting career, coming on strong in the mid-80s, writing and directing one of those Ewoks TV movies, writing Nightmare on Elm Street 4 and The Fly 2, and then this horror anthology. Afterwards, there were a handful of TV movies, and then after writing 2000's Pitch Black, nothing. I should do a retrospective on their career at some point. However, let's focus for now. After Midnight. The Wheat brothers wrote, produced, and directed. We start with college kids who are taking a course about the psychology of fear. The professor is crazy-eyed and super dramatic right from the start, and shortly into his initial lecture, he pulls out a gun, loads it, and puts it to the head of one of his students, making him beg for his life and eventually pee his pants. After mocking the student relentlessly, he then turns the gun on himself and blows the back of his head off.
I am.
But haha, all a prank to demonstrate fear. I immediately hate the premise of this movie. If I'd been in this class, not even the kid who got run off, but just someone sitting in this classroom, I'd sue this school and this doofus for every cent they had, and will ever have. Fuck you. The kid who got run off at the very least goes to the dean and informs him of what went on. So when the next class convenes, the college is all, knock it off, you sweater-wearing lawsuit, and the teacher is all, well, some pussies don't like my teaching method, so here's a bunch of books you have to read, and that's that. Meh. But then he mentions there's nothing stopping him from inviting all the kids over to his house to scare them there. And so that's what he does. And everyone fucking goes. What fucking world is this movie taking place in? They all show up at his house for more of his bullshit. I repeat, they all show up at his house for more of his bullshit. Also making an appearance is the kid who got the gun pointed at his head, although he's merely lurking outside with an axe. He's not the villain of this story. Not to me. Anyway, all that was merely set up for the dramatic dipshit to tell the group a spooky story to illustrate fear. And so we finally get our first story, which features a married couple driving home from a celebratory dinner who get two flat tires, caused by someone purposely spilling spikes all over the road. Remember this detail for later. Luckily, the car is disabled right next to a spooky house, so they approach it to ask for help. And I'm immediately confused as to why Professor Hardcore is telling these kids such a simple story with a goofy-ass soundtrack.
Somebody's home.
Looks like they're going to bed. I don't think we should bother them.
Well, if they're just going to bed, we won't be waking them up or anything.
The husband is all, come on, let's just go, and she's all, hell no, bro, we're breaking into this house. And these people being a married couple doesn't make any sense. They act like they barely know each other. He's a timid mouse, and she's a complete psycho. So some spooky things keep happening, and eventually it's revealed that this is all a big setup for a surprise birthday party for my man Mark McClure. But he's already terrified to the point of brandishing a sword, and when his wife turns around to reveal herself as the horrible person ruining his life, he cuts off her head. It's fucking stupid. Now, to make that whole thing work, the wife literally had someone put spikes all over a highway in order for the car they were traveling in to blow out two tires in front of the spooky house. No one would ever do this. How is this movie so insanely off the mark in every way? We return to the professor's house where he's all super proud of his lame as hell story, and all the students are, oh my god, you're the best spooky man of all time, this is the best thing ever. Ugh. So, only possessing one stupid story apparently, he calls on one of his students, in this case the dude from Assault of the Party Nerds, who tells a story about 4 girls who nearly run out of gas while aimlessly driving around the warehouse district looking for a nightclub they can sneak into. I guess the premise of this movie is that car trouble is the absolute most frightening thing that can happen to a person. They find an abandoned gas station and think they'll get gas from it, and then eventually sneak into the spooky place to try and use a phone. Okay, I guess this movie thinks that trying to find a phone in a spooky place is the most frightening thing that can happen to a person. Instead of a phone, they find a rapist and his pack of angry dogs. Great story, guy! They barely escape getting raped and mauled, but the crazy rapist guy really wants to rape, so he defenestrates himself through the building to get to them. Some stunt driving leads to that dude getting crushed. Good. but then his dogs arrive to menace them more, which means I get to watch a bunch of dogs get killed. Thanks a bunch, movie. You're really great. At least the resolution just has the surviving girls blow up the building the dogs are in, instead of murdering them one by one, so yay, I guess? Back to the house now, and it's Bobby Hill's turn to tell the story. She tells the story of Marg Helgenberger, who works as an overnight answering service operator, who is being stalked by a demented fan of one of her clients. He's also her real-life husband. Spooky! Anyway, that story goes exactly where you think it will. That's the problem with After Midnight. These are all such bare-bones spooky story templates. There's nothing to them. Third-rate anthology shows would shy away from stories so lackluster. Then we have to resolve this whole framing device storyline, and after the student torments the teacher for a bit, things get unbelievably stupid until it's all revealed to be a dream. Go straight to hell, movie. I'm drop-kicking this disc right out of my house. God damn it, this one made me angry. Sorry, I know I'm usually more upbeat than this, but god damn! The Wheat Brothers retrospective is cancelled.